Y'all gonna have to give me a minute if someone's there trying to tune in. I gotta do something real quick, so I might not be on the camera just here for a few seconds. But I gotta put my shoes on and go outside real quick. I'll be right back and then do something and then I'll. So just stay put or stay right there if you're watching. I'm gonna be right back in a few minutes. Oh, nah, nah. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. Oh, hey. Hey, Tomcat. Give me a second. I don't know if you were tuning in right there at the beginning. Somebody was. So as soon as I started, I realized I hadn't done something that I meant to do right before I started. And so I started and had to say, y'all hold on 1 second, please. Because let me get my shoe off. This dang foot. Anyway. Oh, okay. Well, I was a few minutes I was a minute or two late starting it. And because right before I was about to go live, I was trying to use the bathroom. And as soon as I sat down on the toilet in there, somebody pulled up in my driveway honking the horn. I was trying to wipe my ass, and I was like, God dang it. I don't hardly ever get anybody come by. And, but anyway, so I wiped as best I could and then kind of like went out there to see who was in my driveway. And, so anyway, it's somebody I know from church. They had called me a minute ago and they were like, they asked me if I still had them puppies that I had, and I hadn't talked to them or I hadn't had them puppies in over a month, or about a month, I guess. And but I didn't know why he was calling out of the blue to ask me. Yeah, I remember when you sent me a message was it last night? Was it a message or in the comments? No, I see. Okay, yeah, it was in the message. But when you messaged me and said that when you got home or something, you was feeling bad and stuff. Oh, I've been trying to decide. Yeah, that's why I lose track of. Anyway, so apparently my friend that lives down the road from here, he also goes to the church that I go to, which I don't go all the time. You guys know that. But I went yesterday. So apparently down the road, down towards where they live, somebody must have dropped off some puppies last night right by his house. Because he said, like, his dogs let him know anytime something's out there in the middle of the night and creeping around. And So apparently there was 4 puppies. Well, his dogs got to carrying on, and in the middle of the night, I guess somebody had dropped these puppies off, and he had found them, and they were not, like he said, they were in pretty poor, you know what I mean? You could tell they're not like, they were malnourished, obviously, and they're definitely not my puppies, because we took the puppies I had to the shelter, which I didn't want to. I would rather, if I could have had it my way, I would have kept them as long as I could to find each an individual home personally that I knew from someone. But I didn't have that time in the mental state and a lot of things going on. Anyway, that's neither here or there. But they kind of know what kind of car it was that dropped off the puppies. And him and his wife are driving around trying to find that damn car. Which I don't blame him. But he keeps telling me, well, just put the word out. Anybody in this trailer park trying to drop off puppy. And I said, well, man, like this trailer park I live in, since I've lived here, there's been people. And Betty, my neighbor that's lived here for a long time, I've been here almost 5 years. This trailer park where we live, people drive, like every so often, there'll be a random dog just show up, and it'll be because someone's dropped off some puppies nearby because they think, Betty says she thinks that people drop them off right where we're at because they see the trailer park and they think, we'll drop these cats off here, we'll drop off these puppies or this dog here, and somebody will take care of it in that trailer park. But, you know, he's just telling me that just to let people know, if there's anybody here that potentially might be trying to drop off a dog down his way, that he wants me to put the word out for them to know there are people watching and they are going to try to figure out who did it. Because even though I didn't like what I had to do with the puppies I had, taking them to a shelter where, because a lot of places, like here, and the truth is, most no-kill shelters are always full because you know. So I didn't want to take anything. I don't ever want to have to do that. But I'm not gonna, like, you know, I've got a lot of other things going on right now, and that I'm trying to sort through my brain. And I'm glad you're doing better today, Tom. So I haven't done a whole lot today. I've done, I did a recreational reading from volume 3 already of Gorillas, which I've got all 4 volumes, and I've read all of this before. When I first got all these volumes, like I read them, like I ordered the first volume used, and then since I liked it, and I followed the actual artist and writer of this book, then I went in and purchased the other 3 volumes brand new so that the money would actually be contributed to said artist. And I'm going through, a week or 2 ago, I started back reading volume 1 and then just recently finished volume 2. So today I picked up volume 3 and started, because I'm trying to do, I seen these, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to, because, you know, like on Great Cloud's Thoughts, that's where I want to be doing that type of content more so. Although it dawns on me, like if I'm going to do a stream and have a content, like if I'm going to have an artist or a writer that has put out an independent book or has one that's currently out they're trying to fund, and I want to promote it for them, or like, not that a lot of my audience here would even come and watch, I don't know. But because this channel is bigger, I figured this would be where I would need to invite somebody. Like say, there's a lot of people I follow on X that have, you know, independent comic books. They're self, you know, crowdfunding. Did you retract that? You must have done that, didn't you? Okay. But you get what I'm saying, sir, Tom, Cat. So basically, like I'm trying to figure out how do I navigate this with the other. Like I don't really want to. I want people to know that if they want the me talking about comic books or current movies or anything like that, that's where I'll be doing it mostly is on the second channel. And once I get to a certain subscriber count over there, I can do live streams already over there, but I'm not. Oh, it didn't seem gay to me. I mean, you could have chose a different color heart, like a blue or red, any of that, but it don't matter to me. But yeah, and so you know, I have done a few things today. Like I've done a little bit. Like I said, I read a little of that from recreational, and of course, I've done my video, my normal video, and my Jesus Calling video, and then trying to think what else I've done. Well, not that it really matters. I don't know why I'm talking about that kind of stuff. It's just, I made some tuna fish and stuff that I made plenty to where I've had a couple of sandwiches and I've got plenty more for whenever I'm hungry again. That's what I like to do is make enough of something. I can own it a couple of times during the day, maybe in the evening, and even have something left over for the next day. Usually it works out better that way. And so I don't know what day this is that I'm going into as far as not having a drink, Tom, but it's got to be about the fourth day, I think. See, what's today? Monday? So it was it maybe Thursday maybe Wednesday or Thursday was when I had my last day. I believe it was Thursday. Because I'd gotten sick on Wednesday. That's when we did that stream, I think. And I'd gotten sick earlier in that day. Got sick after I ended the stream that we did. And then the next day, I think I had a few left, finished them off. So it might have been like, it might have been the last, I'm trying to remember, but it don't really matter. I think, so if it was Thursday, it'd be Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Yeah, so this is about the fourth day. And it's been relatively easy. Well, I mean, I've been working on it for a couple of years. I think when I first started following you and talking to you, I don't believe I was actively in the midst of it at that time. And I don't know how, I can't tell you for sure, but I know that a few years ago, when I really got serious about it, I did get 10 months of complete without alcohol. And then I had a physical ailment. That's when I was dealing with the first cyst ever coming up on my back. There's nothing wrong. You know what I mean? There's something I read in my studies in the past few days. It's from, I want to say, I believe it was from anyways, there's two different books I'm reading currently by the same guy, but, both spiritual and inspiration, like not motivate, but spiritual and mystical. In one of the studies, it was either yesterday or the day before. He's talking about the old story from India of like, so I don't know, a guy getting up in the middle of the night and something laying on the floor in the dark that appears to him to be a snake. And then when he finally comes to realize that it wasn't a snake, it was just a rope laying there. The study was about realizing that The problem is there was never a snake there. That we create, we misperceive things all the time. And so when we finally come to the understanding that reality is, it's a certain way, and no matter like how much we worry about something or preconceive something, that doesn't matter. We create a lot of our own stress. So I'm trying to take it from, okay, my drinking, it's like it's a rope. So it's not necessarily like I got to see it as it's not a snake. It's not something that I'm trying to eliminate, because that's not actually the problem. The problem is it's something inside of me that keeps me from being able to maintain when I do go back to it. And I'm not here trying to preach or nothing or tell nobody about what to do. Isn't it funny? I drink out of an old Georgia Peach moonshine jar all the time. I like it because it's got a lid on it, and then I can mix my drinks in it. Like I do apple cider vinegar with lemon juice, and then usually like maybe like a packet of something that's like it's artificial sweetened type stuff, but it's got a flavor to it. And then sometimes if I have a few other, like sometimes I'll put a little ginger in it and stuff like that. And then I've had the dilemma of the couple of days. Like yesterday, I toyed around. Well, I'm not going to do a live stream through StreamYard, or I'm just going straight through the app like I'm doing right now. And I chose to do a stream yesterday evening, or whenever I started it. And I just went with the app, and then because I was like, okay, I'll just go straight through the app because that's the way I mostly do it. Start solo, and then if things are going well and it appears that we might want to do something like that, that's what I figured. That's how it went yesterday, and then it ended up. Well, see, that's understandable in my opinion. It's not, maybe, truthfully, like we both know it's not understandable, but it is in a way because, but like if you're anything like me, I don't need anything bad to happen for me to make. I can be working on, not had a drink, and nothing goes bad. Let's say I've not drank in a few months, ain't had nothing going bad, and there'll be just for whatever one day, like let's say just one day it'll be a real nice, pretty day, and I'm like, and maybe I ain't drinking like a few months, and all of a sudden it'll just hit my head. Man, today would be nice to have a cold one. And then if I toy with that thought too long, then I talk myself into it, and then I go on kind of a bender for several days on end, and then I finally have to pull myself and reel myself back. The problem is the more I keep doing that, the more likely at some point I go to it and don't come back off of it, and that's why I'm trying to. I've always been that way when it came to substances, mostly, like no matter what it was I was doing, whether it be drinking or, snorting or popping, I don't really have much of I have a high tolerance to everything anyway. So it's like whatever I'm doing, I'm usually doing in way more excess than anybody around me. And then it's like, which I don't do anything else really anymore other than smoke some pot. And I do still have to struggle when I go fall off the wagon, which we already know that was going on last week with me. Yeah, like for me, I think a lot of people are going to have that, like especially if they've been in their past with people that had a problem with it and were aggro. Like for me, I don't know if you could tell, like when we were talking for a few days, and I was actively still drinking, that when I'm done, like I don't really get very aggressive unless if I'm drinking and get aggressive, it's usually because there's somebody else around that's not able to handle their shit, and like they've gotten to a certain point where no matter what they say or who they're talking to, they're being stupid. Well, that will sometimes trigger me to get a little aggro and have to be like, look, man, we all just trying to have a good time. So it's either chill or get the hell out, you know? But you know, there's some people like, say me and somebody was talking the other day, a person that recently reached out to me and gave me their number. And now we, you know, like another brother from another mother. And we were talking the other night. He had come from my funeral. And we ended up talking like me and you did the first night. We talked for like a few hours and like talked about a lot of stuff. And we were talking about the difference in some people that, like he was talking about, he's known people that could have, there's some people that, well, see, that's also another thing too. Like, you might not be aggressive, but to once we, because like I'm the same way sometimes. If I can go too far, it'll be just like, doesn't matter. I don't give a shit. I'm not even, you know, I don't watch what I say. I'm not trying to hurt nobody's feelings, but it turns out that way. But what I was saying is we were talking about how I know some people, he said he's known people that had problems with drinking in the sense that all it was one or two drinks and they were a completely different person. And I've been around people like that where like just after a couple of beers and they're just already like fucking gone. But yet they've drank for years, but it's like my mom was like that. After about 4 or 5 beers, my mom was already just but I mean, she drank a lot, but it didn't take a lot. She could drink a lot, but it was just weird, you know? Like she had a high tolerance, but it was weird sometimes because it didn't just, I guess it depended on her mood. And I didn't really have a topic or an idea of what I was going to talk about right now. I just wanted to go live for a little bit. And I just chose to go through the app right now because I'm kind of like not sure. I think I explained this to you. Me personally, if I'm not sure about how long I'm going to stay on and all that, I'm just going to use the app and be solo. Because my thing is, I don't want to get a StreamYard going and someone might want to come in. Or if like for instance, if we set up another one, we talk and say, hey, let's do one, let's say we decide, let's do one Wednesday at so-and-so time. Well, like, if I know I'm able to do it and I'm going to set it up that way, I don't want to, I want to be able to know that we're going to at least be on for about an hour, if not longer, if I'm going to have somebody come on and be with me. Which is weird because yesterday I ended up streaming almost 3 hours by myself, but we had a good stream, brother. And everybody, I want to welcome everybody that is tuning in. We're just sitting here chilling for a minute. I'm kind of I think I'm just kind of like taking today a little. Well, each day has been this way. Tom Kid, I don't know if. Well, if you'd been feeling kind of off yesterday, I don't know, because this was like, I don't know what time I started it yesterday, but once I started it, people started showing up, and then a few people would. You know what was interesting is we had somebody in the chat yesterday from Palestine. Like actually over in Jordan. And like at one moment, he's like, man, I'm going to get off of here. I think I hear bombs. And I was like, well, no, that's understandable, dude. You know, I was like, it was really cool because I'd never seen them in the chat. I don't know if they had tuned into my channel before. And they came at me with a question, Israel or Palestine. And so I feel like I handled it pretty well. Because at first I was like, I really don't care. And then I was like, well, no, I do care. Hey, Bleed Blue, what's up? So what I said to him was, I side for the side. I said, I believe that all people should have the freedom to move freely and be where they want to be, as long as they're not trying to impose or hurt the other people. And in other words, I'm saying, I answered it with the sense of, I'm on the side of humanity where we all are able to move freely and not be confined or be told we can only be in this area and that area. And then we got like, you know what I mean? So, because at first I thought the question was someone trying to troll me and catch me. You know, like if I said one answer, then it would trigger one response if I say the other answer, but I gave the answer that I think is the correct answer. I felt like the Spirit moved me to say that. So when it comes to Israel or Palestine, I'm for all of humanity. So it doesn't matter about if a country is doing heinous shit to people, then they are doing heinous shit to people. But let's not talk about all that. You get what I'm saying? And the guy was, and then because he didn't come into the chat and immediately say, I'm in Palestine, he asked me, he said, hi. He asked me the question, and I was like, man, I don't know. And then it just started flowing out of me, and I answered. Like, you know, it just kind of came to me. It's like, you know, I'm on the side of humanity. And then that's when he said, well, I'm in Palestine. You know, that's why I said, well, dude, you know, I don't know what your beliefs and stuff are. Because just because someone's living in Palestine, they don't even, they might not even be Jewish or, I mean, they might not be Muslim, Christian, or Jewish, you know. In other words, they could be agnostic or atheist even. But we had some really good conversation about all kinds of stuff. And I just thought it was cool, like, to have somebody from that area of the world and to have them tune in and to be able to be here and we could have a real conversation about this stuff, you know, without it being like some big deal. And Bleed Blue, how you been in? Are you at work, Bleed Blue? And because Bleed Blue, Bleed Blue, what do you think about that shit about? Now, I don't know what, I really don't care, but since you're a Ryan Upchurch fan, I saw a video today. Now, I watched a stream last night. I don't know if you were there, Bleed Blue. You know, Ryan was on the stream. Captain Kurt, or whatever his channel is. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. So they were streaming, right? And I was watching. And I don't know what the deal is about this, but so evidently Ryan has said, I'm unfollowing, what's his name, Marcotic or something, because he did something with Jam Wayne. And you know what I mean? Like, I don't keep up. Like, I just know if I like someone's music or not, and I like who they are. And then today I seen a video from another artist that's really cool, and he's a creeker, he's a creek squad. But because he's a Marine, and I guess Marcotic or something is a Marine also, or was in the Marines, and he's just struggling, trying to come up in the scene, living in a trailer, you know, doing his thing. The video was about, like, the guy's not, he's like, man, you know, like, and I was just like, well, you made good points, but I'm not really here about the drama. Other than the stupid drama with Adam Calhoun and shit, that stuff's kind of stupid. I don't like Adam Calhoun. I did think I did at one time, but he showed a lot of crawlers, and it's kind of stupid. But I'm not here, you know. The only reason I brought it up is because Bleed Blue, I know, is a Creek Squad and, you know, likes Ryan and stuff. And I like Ryan. And anyway. So I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing here. Like, I got to charge my phone now, bro. Okay, Tomcat. Like I said, I don't know if I'll be on here real long or not, and a lot of that depends on, like, if I'm talking, people are coming in and communicating. A lot of times that'll keep me kind of busy, keep me just going. But at some point, I always have to remind myself, just because you got a lot of free time on your hands, there are still things sometimes I have to remind myself and go, I've been sitting here talking and doing a stream for an hour or hour and a half or however long it's gone on. And at some point, I'm like, maybe I should get off here for a little bit and kind of assess what it is I might need to do. So I'm trying to think of what I could share with you guys to make it interesting or somewhat. Let me think. Hold on a second. I'm going to try this out. I don't know if I can do it right or not. But yesterday I realized there was a highlight from a live stream a few weeks ago that was still private or unlisted. So not private, but it was unlisted, so nobody had really watched it. It was like a 5-minute segment out of the live. And during that segment, of course, this sounds a little too, anyway. But I did a little improvisation there. And so I made a sword of it out of the highlight, and I also made everything public. To this morning, I wrote down the words that I had used, and I'm going to start just kind of trying to work with it and make it. It's real simple, though. Let's see, what is it? Y'all might have seen the short. It's like, what is it? What are you going to do when they come here and you wait? What are you going to do when they come here and try to... I'm doing it wrong. What are you going to do when they come here and try to tear you down? What are you going to do when you have no one and you feel like a clown? What are you going to do when you think you're someone and you are not anything? What are you going to do when you know you've almost gone insane? Anyway, in the video of the live, it was all in the moment. Those were not words that I had even wrote out or anything. That just came to me during that live stream. But because I forgot about it, found it, made it public, I snipped it, and I was like, you know what? They work. Those words, that's the beginning of something, just like a few of the other things I've got. And, of course, I really appreciated Meek's Entertainment, Chris there, chiming in on the comments and stuff with me about it. Because he said, he's like, man, you got a good knack for rhythm and, which I was a drummer. I am a drummer. I know how to play drums. I'm not like the best drummer in the world. I can't play just any style of music. I'm not that kind of musician. When it comes to a drum set, I can keep a pretty good beat. I know how to do what I need to do for like a rock type stuff. For heavy music, I know how to. I'm a good drummer for that type of stuff. Now, not double bass type heavy, but just like single, regular, and more slow. I can play fast, but I prefer to play super slow to mid pace when it comes to playing the drums with music. Writing songs and stuff, especially if it's in the heavy context. But it's cool. I don't know if you're still here, Bleed Blue, but I appreciate that you showed up. And we're going to stay on for a little while longer. There's really not a whole lot. There's always there's a bunch of stuff I can always be doing here. Like, Like, a few weeks ago, I got in a big kick and was starting to organize things around here and got a lot of it almost to a certain point. I about had the table organized or almost cleared off, but then now it's kind of there's several boxes just sitting there that I need to go through, sort through. I need to get back to trying to clear this table off over here. So as this weather is getting nicer and stuff, I will probably move my operation of live streaming to where I'm sitting at the table. If I'm not outside doing something, like, because I sometimes, I'll pick up the phone and we'll walk outside for a minute or something. So. And, I noticed that there at some point I've been doing live streams and forgetting to highlight some of it. Because I think it works out pretty good to have little 5-minute segments snipped out of it, I wish I'd done highlighted some of the beginning. So, yeah, it was like, what are you going to do when they come here and try to tear you down? What are you going to do when you have no one and you feel like a clown? What are you going to do when you think you're someone and you're not anything? What are you going to do when you know you've almost gone insane? But, and then, I've been thinking, I just always loved the words from a song we wrote years ago. It's a very aggressive song, but it was like, I see right through your fucking lies. I know you never understood. I will never fucking back down. I could fuck your world up. Those were the only words of the song. It said it at the beginning, and then it come back to it at the end, and the very last line changes from I could F your world up to I will F it up. So it was like the first part of the song's about I'm sick of it. I could mess you up. Back off. By the end of the song, it's like I'm sick of it. Back off. I'm gonna fuck you up, That song was called Decoy. I see right through your fucking eyes. Anyway, I'm just sitting here babbling. And stay on for a little bit longer. At least stay on for just a little longer. Let's see if somebody else shows up. I'm at this moment seeing that nobody's viewing. Could be wrong. You could be watching and it's just not registering. I was real shocked when I ended the stream yesterday. Like when I ended the stream yesterday, it said there was 81 views. We had up to 11. I had 11 likes on the stream yesterday during the moment we were doing it. So that meant there was at least 11 people at any given time at some point watching. Could have been one or two more because there was several people at the beginning of the stream that weren't there at the end of the stream, and then in the middle of the stream, there were, you know what I mean? And then there's always somebody that watches that don't necessarily say anything in the chat. So I didn't, and then, so if you had one or two people watching and they didn't hit the like button, but I know 11 people yesterday at least had viewed, watched long enough, and hit the actual like button. So that was pretty cool. I was happy about that. It was a good live stream comparatively. We always get a pretty good amount. To me, I think our streams here do all right. I might get anywhere from, sometimes I'm here and there's only one person show up, but that one person is why I'm here for them. Sometimes We have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, you know. Hey, James, how you doing? You were here yesterday. That was a good stream, I thought. I was sharing with the other people that had tuned in just a little bit ago. Tomcat had to go. You can see that he said why he had to go because he had to put his phone on charge. Bleed Blue, a lot of times when he tunes in, a lot of times he's at work. So, you know what I'm saying? It's like a lot. Sometimes he'll be able to, if he catches me, he'll say hi or something, but he might just be listening. And but what I was saying is, however long I decide to stream, you know, it's like it is nice when you have a stream and there's more people show up. Like yesterday, it was like the vibe was just like it just flowed and it worked. And right now, I think I'm just kind of working out a little nervousness. It's like every time I go live, it's the same with playing music. When I played in a band, no matter how much we played, many of shows I played in front of people, I would still always have a little nervousness before you go on stage. I don't think that anybody, that even the biggest stars that have done it all their lives, I imagine there's still got to be, right before you go on for that first moment, before you actually step on the stage and begin to start to play, there's always going to be a tinge of, okay, here we go. We're going on. You know what I mean? And that's how I approach these live streams is I'm pretty comfortable doing it, especially solo. I am learning. You know, I've had a few streams so far here. Like I mentioned this yesterday. We have had Mr. Self-Destruct on with me at one point. He was like, I think, he was like the first person to come in and work with me on the StreamYard and actually do a stream with me. And, you know, he knows a little more about it. And I talked to him yesterday about something. So he's got a video saved for me, and we're going to like line up a day to do a stream together where he'll come in through StreamYard onto my channel. And because he's on a computer, he can pull up that video for us. Then you'll see me and him go to the side, and you'd have the video come up. And what I plan to do is try to schedule a stream with him, and then once we got the time and the day, I can schedule it a few days ahead of time, let people know, so hopefully some people come. But what I'm wanting to do is we're going to just kind of like maybe play that video and like, you know, pause it and talk about the different stuff. And it's a video about it's a video I saw yesterday on X. It's an older video, but of a lady talking about these documents she's got from like 2001 or 2 about the military industrial complex and NASA, and these documents just like talking about the human race and how to keep us in more control. It's talking about all the different things that they were going to do to the population, not just in our country, but over the whole world. Basically, this is stuff that is documented on file from back in 2000, 2001, and here we are in 2025. And everything that I saw, I didn't watch the entire video, but I was like, that would be a good video for a stream. Whether we believe everything that is talked about in it or not, it's still something that would be interesting to have to watch. It's about, I think, 40 minutes. So that would be it's like it would be the first time I'm hoping to set it up and it'll be the first stream. What's up, Kip Basher? It's good to see you. I was talking to James. I think we've had a few people here already. Bleed Blue might have left, but he's usually at work. Tomcat had to charge his phone, and then James came in. Now you, Kit. Kit Basher. The reason I say that is because Yeah, if you've watched, you heard me talk about this yesterday. Um, I never know for certain how many people's watching because it fluctuates all the time. Like it went from 0 2 minutes ago to 2 to 3 down to 1 when Kit Basher showed up, now back to 2. So I tried to not pay attention to it, but because I'm looking at it, it's not always possible. And so I hope everybody's doing all right today. I'm doing pretty good. It's still on a good upswing. And like I was telling Tomcat, I've got, this is like, I guess, I was trying to determine how many days it's been without a drink, and it's been about 4. Or today, I think it's 4. If it's not the 4th day, it's the 5th. And I just kind of lost, but that's a good thing. Well, no, I mean, I kind of want to I want to keep note of it. So even if I fall off at some point, I know how long I got. You know what I mean? And I'm not trying to set myself up for any disaster or anything. It's just, I'm talking about human nature. I am only human. And so, like matter of fact, James, James, I want to say, what you did yesterday for me, it's still sitting there. Like I haven't had to use it yet. I haven't really thought about you know what I'm saying? Of course, I don't drive or anything. Like if I had a car, I probably would have went to the store and used it to get a little more toilet paper or something, but it's no big deal. I've got shit now. And for me, I just like to make good connections here and like to talk to people. And so what I was saying was the plan is at some point, hopefully, I'll work out with I've had some good time, and it's just every once in a while. And sometimes it's not that anything's bad. I was telling Tomcat this earlier. I've had moments where I think I told Kit Basher this the other night. I've went long periods and not even worried. It's not even stressed me out. And then not even have nothing bad going on. It don't even have to be that I'm depressed or bad. Just one day, like all of a sudden, whatever day, there's just like a feeling coming in. I'm like, today would be a good day to do that. And so, but the longer, it's easier, like, you know what I mean? Like the longer I am away from it, it's like I don't deal with thinking about it all the time. I only think about it when I'm actively in the process of it. I'm thankful for that part, if that makes any sense. Like, for instance, the past 4 days have not been hard. They've been actually very pleasant and very good. So I'm very happy in that sense. I'm happy to be able to say I'm happy. If Kit Bass is still there, let me do this real quick again. I want to try this again. I did that little short. I was talking about something I did in a live stream a few weeks ago, Kit Basher. Didn't realize that I had highlighted a certain segment of it. Had not made it public. It was unlisted. I made it public yesterday, and then I made a short out of a certain part of it where I was beating on the tub. It was a different tub that I was beating on that sounds a little better, but this is what I have in front of me. So today I wrote down the words that had came to me during that time, and I'm going to try to do something with these words. But, at the time on that particular stream, it was all in the moment. And so what I was explaining to people, these words were not pre-written. They just came then. But now that I've been able to remember and look at it, I'm like, I need to work with that they will. But especially because someone commented and said that, I got something there. So it's like, what did I say? What are you gonna do when they come here and try to tear you down? Or what are you gonna do when you have no one? Wait. Okay. But the words are, what are you gonna do when they come here and try to tear you down? Or what are you gonna do when you What are you going to do when you come here and they try to tear you down? What are you going to do when you have no one and you feel like a clown? What are you going to do when you think you're someone and you're not anything? What are you going to do when you know you've almost gone insane? You know, it was just in the moment, and it was like those words came to me. I didn't think nothing about it. I realized I had it, had done that. So I was like, I might as well write them down and work with them. Now, I don't know where it would go if I was to write any more words. I'm more like, I like to, personally, I like to, well, the way that I'm looking at it is sometimes when I'm sitting here by myself working on it, like I did earlier this morning without anybody on, like not on a live stream, I'm just trying to recreate the pattern that was in that live stream 3 weeks ago when I first came up with this. So if there was any more to go to it, personally, I don't know if I could sit down and think so hard about it. But a lot of times what will happen with me is I'm working on it and I get it down, like I get that part of it down to a certain point. Then all of a sudden, at some point, more words will start flowing. That's usually what happens with me, you know. What are you going to do when they come here and try to tear you down? Or what are you going to do when they come in? Wait, see, I don't need to be doing this on the live stream. You basically see me practice right now. I'm just sharing that with people because, you know, it's something that, so to me, that actually is kind of productive. You know, like maybe there's chores that I still tend to, but as far as for me, if I'm creating something, whether it be drawing, writing, playing on a bucket with my drumsticks, or if I'm reading something spiritual and deep, or even, you know, recreational reading, but to me, that's something that is still productive and fulfilling for me. A lot more fulfilling than if I was just sitting here on my phone, not doing a live stream, but yet not cleaning the trailer, not doing any of the creative stuff, and just scrolling through a bunch of dumb shit all day long. And I have a tendency to make it, like when you have a large portion of hours on your hand during the day, and it's like I think to myself, you know, 20-something years ago, it wasn't that hard to figure out. Like through the day, you found things to do without having to be on your phone all day long. And it's crazy, man. It's like I was thinking about this yesterday. It's like if I could, I've established a presence online, and this is my outlet to the world because I don't get to go out as much as I would like, or I'm not in an area where I can just go and hang out at a cafe and meet people and get to have a few friends and know some people where, you know what I mean? Like the little bit of community I have here is when I go to church and I got a handful of people up there that'll help me out and do things, but most of them are like busy all the time, have families, working, doing whatever. And I have the neighbor that I associate with a lot, and that's about it. So it's nice to be able to have this opportunity to make connections like this on a level. When I say like this, is that I've made several good connections already just by doing YouTube. You know, some subscribers that talk to me on a regular basis outside of YouTube, other content creators that we at some point have exchanged information, and, you know, maybe we don't talk every day or every week, but you have actual personal contact. So that's kind of fun, especially with people that are creative or insightful. Like I'm real honored to say I've got to meet a guy named Mike Maranetha. Oh, hey, Julie. Good to see you, Julie. You know what? Something I need to do while you guys are here. if I can remember, hold on a minute. What I want to do is, and the reason I want to do this is, I want to remind anybody that we have I was going to have it probably taken down by now, but I believe only 3 people have commented on the original giveaway video. So that means, I think it was Mama Teresa. I had the names written down, but I haven't looked at the video in a while. So there's 3 people that have commented on the first video I put up for this. The second video, nobody commented on, which is all I asked was, be subscribed to the channel, like the video, and comment. What I'm trying to do is say, if you're here in this live stream right now and you have not went to those videos and commented, if you want to say to me right now, hey, put my name in there, and right now I'll write down your name for a chance when we draw the name for 50 things that really matter. And if you're curious to what it's about, it's just 50 different stories from 50 different, like personal stories from people in their lives, short little stories about something that went on and made them think about what truly mattered in their life. Like, see, what really matters in your life. For many of us, life seems to be a constant scramble for more stuff, from fancier cars to the latest electronic gadgets, from fine clothes to extravagant vacations. And if we fall short in our pursuit, we feel left out or depressed. But are these the things that really matter in life? Hardly. What's really important are some of the simplest gestures, events, and values, like a hug and a sunrise, courage and kindness, afternoon naps, and hot summer nights. The first-person stories in this book celebrate simple pleasures like these, and they show how focusing on these little things can help you overcome hardship and find great value in your life. Read these words and you'll be encouraged, enlightened, and enriched from head to soul. So I just wanted to give anybody an opportunity at this moment, if you're watching and you would want, all you have to say is something in the comment. If you don't want to, you don't have to say so. What I'm getting at is, if you chime in and say that, then I'll write your name down. And then, because what I'm thinking about is I was going to try to maybe, I'm trying to round it out to where if anybody else doesn't know and they try to, before I actually determined to cut it off and take those videos down and do a live stream, or either just write the names down and make a video of me pulling a name out of the hat or whatever. That's what I plan to do. But I was thinking about trying to pull a name out during an actual live stream. Like, once I know that I've ended it and I'm like, okay, we have this many people, whether it be 3 people, 4 people, 5 people, but I have their names written down. And then I can say, okay, the giveaway's done. I'll pick a name on this day and whatever. What's up, Templar's Monk? Good to see you here. And of course, if you're interested in that book for the giveaway, preferably it's just for people within the United States and Canada. I will ship it to Canada, although it'd still be costly. It's not quite that bad, but especially when it comes to books, I learned that a while back. And even in the U.S., like shipping a book, you can ship several books there's a thing at the post office, if it's literary, like actual books, and you're sending it through the mail, up to a certain weight, you can send them for $5. So, like, and I sent something like that one time. But, and I guess I shouldn't be that worried about how many people have entered, because the point is, who is interested has put their name in. And so even if it's 3 people, it's just that the last time I did the giveaway for the comic book, I only had 2 people to pick from. So it was like, at least now I got 3. I like it to feel like a little bit of a challenge. And Happy Cloud says hi. Hey guys. I wonder if it's I don't know if this works too well anymore. I need to try to find another one of these, which I can find them on eBay. Evidently, this was something that was in a kid's movie, and this particular thing is from, I think, a McDonald's Happy Meal type thing. And originally, I just found one in a bin at a thrift store, where there's just. Well, I know. Isn't it funny that it is from I'm trying to remember. I looked it up. Like, I found this at a thrift store, so I had no clue. But then I took a picture and did a Google reference search. And I don't remember what it's from, but someone else told me before. But, so that's Happy Cloud, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's a little bit gray looking now, though. He's kind of dingy and dirty, so he's pretty close to. He's kind of like, look, he's had a little mishap at some time. You can see where somehow or another he got close to something that was hot, and I don't know, I don't remember when or how that happened, but so how are you doing today though, Templar's monk, and then Kit Basher, I'm assuming you're doing pretty good too. I'm going to assume if we're here and we're able to interact with each other, that means that's like to the plus anyway, even if we are having a bad day, if we, because sometimes someone might come in and I'm just fortunate that I'm having a good day and this is a good stream. So far, so good. I don't ever know exactly how long I'll stay on. Oh, okay. You woke up completely, okay. Well, Templar monk, that's good. I mean, it's good for you. Like, it wouldn't be for me at this moment, but I'm on a sober kick at the moment. Well, I try my. You've been interacted with me, and I think I've probably mentioned this that for me. But I don't want to get into all of it. I've talked about it enough. But I had a bout with several days last week of let's say I had a bender, and it had been a few weeks. Like I've been getting good at holding it, like staying off of alcohol. So for me, it's not a health physically, health wise, it's not good. And then I just don't have a. No, I totally understand. And I don't know why did that hide the comment? I don't understand that. Anyway, I don't know if Bleed Blue did that or what. Like, I'm not understanding, like, if there's not a moderator that actually hid that, I don't know why the AI would do it. What's up, Mila? Well, I guess what I'm getting at is because Kit Basher and I talked about this the other day. Like for me, it's not that I'm sitting here like every day thinking I'm the kind of person that I can take it or leave it most of the time. But once I get going, once I decide to do it, it's going to be a minute before I put the brakes on. It's at least going to be if I chose to start again today, even though I'm broke, there's always or not completely broke. Like I said, I still have something on it. But what I'm getting at is if I started today, whether I have much money or not, I would probably start a pattern where I'd find myself tomorrow probably trying to figure out a way, and then the next day, and then within a few days, I'd be kind of like already that's just me in my personal life. So, like, I'm not like, I don't, which I don't think you thought that, Templar. I don't think you thought that I was, like, you know what I mean? I'm not suggesting that anybody has to do what it is I work on for myself, because we're all different. To me, if someone is able to function in their life and whatever it is they want to do, as long as it's not harmful to other people, then I say, you know what I mean? Like, even if someone's doing it and it's not the best thing for them, if they're not if it's not screwing everything up around them, and they're not fucking, if they're not messing with a bunch of other people because of what they're doing, and they're maintaining, and that's their business. Um, that's like me with my marijuana use and stuff. If somebody wanted to try to tell me that I need to quit smoking pot or any of that, well, they just need to take on and go somewhere. You know what I mean? Well, all I know, on my dad's side of the family, like, my legal last name is Lemming. That's Leming. It's spelled with one M, not two. The two M Lemming is the ones that run off the freaking cliffs. Um, my mom's my mom's maiden name was Lindsay, Lindsey. My mom said, yeah, Lemming is English. But my mom said she was pretty sure that her side of the family. Now, I don't know if Lindsay is also English, or if it could be, I don't know if it could be Scottish or Irish or any of that. But she was pretty, from what I understand, my mom was pretty sure. Now, I don't know if she knew for sure, but I remember she definitely said that there was Irish blood on that side of the family. You get what I'm saying? Like, on the Lindsay side of the family, there was Irish blood. And on that side of the family is where we get the alcohol, or I get my alcoholism from that. Well, think about it. Now, I did some research at one point trying to figure out, and that's when I discovered that, the lemmings did come. Well, in America, I guess originally lemmings came from it. The farthest back I could get was England with the lemming side. I can't remember where it was on the Lindsay side, because you got to remember, before any of the white man came to this country, there wasn't nobody with those last names. Oh, I'm not blaming the patty on the alcohol. You don't have to be Irish. Anybody can be. Alcoholism don't discriminate. If you got a problem with it, it don't matter if you got Irish blood, Native American blood, or now they do say Native American people have a tendency to have a, but I think it's just a matter of each person's different. And yeah, you're probably right though. Yeah, my beard before it got mostly white, I had a full on red beard. My hair was blondish, but a blondish kind of strawberry red, which I don't have, you know, and it's more like kind of brown. Like back in the day, it was different. Yeah, I'm just meaning like, as far as like the white people coming to this land, any of our last names would have had to have come from somewhere in Europe at some point. So, I mean, at this point, yeah, Lindsay and whatever would be is American, but you get what I'm saying? I want to say that when I looked into the Lindsay name, that there's somehow part of it came from England, but I think that's something I'd have to look into again. And then on the Lindsay side of the family, also on my mom's side, I believe she said we did have some Native American, which you can't tell it from me. I'm pretty Caucasian. Oh, okay. I probably did know that at some point. You know, like you learn stuff throughout the years, and it's like some of it you don't retain. Like, for instance, if that information had processed in my brain at some point years ago, I couldn't tell you for certain. It sounds like something I probably would have read in a history book at some point because I always enjoyed history. That's some of my favorite type of, like when I was in school and stuff, that was my favorite stuff. Whether it been American history, world history, all that kind of stuff, you know? Yeah. So anyway, I also have a sense that I could have, I get a sense sometimes that I could have, maybe my bloodline could even go back. I sometimes think I might have a little bit of heritage from the Viking area of the world too. Like um, I don't know. So it's like how some people like really are so interested in knowing their heritage so much that like getting those DNA like I just was like I learned what I could, or I remember what I was told by my mom, and then it was like I don't know. All I know is what I was told, and then like my family's never really wasn't big on it, and it didn't like I looked into it. I found it as far back as I could. I did remember the living name being, and of course there are lemmings. There are people with the last name Lemming that spell it with two M's. That's what I'm saying. I'm pretty sure that my ancestry goes back to some of the pagan area. I'm sure. I mean, some kind of Nordic or something. I mean, oh, I'm sure of it though, because I'm very much into the esoterics of things. So I branch it. I do study, metaphysical stuff, and just because I read from a Jesus Calling daily devotional, and I also study the Bible and stuff, doesn't mean that I haven't read a bunch of other stuff and I haven't learned about other cultures and I haven't researched as much as I can about any spiritual background I could. For me, that gives me more of a real rounded understanding of my relationship with the Creator. That's where I stand, like because like when I'm talking about Christ, I'm usually just saying the Christ, like the Christ that dwelleth within. It could be the whatever, you get what I'm saying? But that doesn't necessarily mean that I don't. Hey, yeah, the James, which because somebody told me one time. I remember, and he made so much sense because I was like, I was sharing with him my faith, and I was like, I don't like. To me, it's not as important. Did he come? Did he not? Was he here? Was he not? Trying to figure out all the facts. Is that when I look at it, the story alone, just as a story, and what it's trying to tell me, then I get what it's supposed to be. When I delve into too much of all the other stuff of like people trying to debate the historical evidence and all this other stuff, I don't need all of that. You know what I mean? Like Diddy's in jail. Oh yeah, Diddy is in jail. I ain't kept up with that in a while. Like I haven't seen much talk about it in a while, but I ain't been. I'm trying to tune any of that. Like I ain't tuning. But I was sharing with everybody that I'm hoping to plan a live stream where I'll have a guest, Mr. Self Destruct, working with me because he saved a video. No, I know, man. I know there's historical evidence. I'm saying I don't get into all of it because I don't question it. It's just my personal thing is I know what is, and I know like nothing I can say or do is going to prove anything to anybody. So I don't spend my time trying to prove it to anybody because each person has to come to those things on their own, and it's through a personal spiritual experience that's going to make that happen. Nothing I say or do, no matter how many churches you go to, no matter how many preachers try to tell you, if you ain't ready and you ain't had your own divine personal experience and spiritual awakening, then you're not going to believe it. It's not my job to try to twist someone's arm and make them. Do I reckon it? No. Well, no, I mean, yes, I reckon there is, but it's more of a here and now thing. It's like where you want to be at right now. You know what I'm saying? Like for me, it's just like heaven is here and now if we are able to perceive it. Does that make sense? That's a good thing, I think, Kit Basher. Personally, I mean, I've had plenty of more people that were, I've known plenty of people that were members of the church Latter Day Saints. But yeah. I can't remember that episode. I'd have to go look it up. But I shared about the Toltecs yesterday, and that's kind of my perception of things is that we can create a heaven. I mean, we each can have our own personal dream of heaven or hell. And then based on how many people in the world are in their own personal hell, it collect like the collective dream of the planet is right now personally in hell. But the more people that start becoming more enlightened and awakened, we slowly get closer to the manifestation of a better place. Colton, why are you standing in my yard, dude? What about it? No, I'm doing something, man. I'm just trying to see what you needed. Like I'm in the middle of something. I'm talking to people. So I mean, I ain't mad or nothing, but like I don't have, like I don't know, I don't have, like I'm not able to do anything right now or talk to you right now. That's all I was meaning. I'm sorry, man. I wasn't trying to. I just seen you standing there, and I know you was like trying to. You was trying to be patient, and I didn't want you to. Hey, I didn't want you to think that I was. Hold on, guys. I didn't want you to think that I was just purposely. But you heard me talking. I'm on a thing on my YouTube channel and live right now talking to people. So okay. So you was just playing with your car. I just wanted him to know that I wasn't. Sorry, guys. That's my neighbor's grandson, and he was standing outside, looking in here, kind of like I could tell he was like probably wondering what the hell I'm doing, sitting in here talking. And, but I didn't want him to think I was ignoring him. I think he was patiently waiting there to see if I was able to, if I did see him, or maybe he was waiting for me to be quiet long enough he could say something, you know, and I just wanted to let him know. I feel like I was a little rude at first, but I told him. Right, James Gannon. What I'm saying is, I'm not going to get here. I don't want to get too much into the philosophical of people talking to me about whether there is or not actually after we leave. A lot of that to me has to determine if I have not rose out of my mental hell before I pass on, then that's going to determine the next level, like of where you're going to be at once you pass. So the hope is that, like today, like for me mentally today, I'm in a state of like my mind state today, and it has been for the past 4 days, even the fifth day back on the last day that I had a beer after a bender. Even that day was still the same mindset. I've been in more of a heaven mindset where if you go back 6, 7 days, I was stuck in the hell. It's just, I'm trying to learn how do I address some things without people. And no matter what I say, there's going to be people that are not going to believe certain things, or they're going to think I'm a right, Julie. That's what I was saying. Is I have studied a lot of biblical scripture. I've read the entire Bible numerous times. Matter of fact, last year or whenever it was, at some point in the history of the channel, I can't remember when it was, but I took the time to start in the very beginning and read the whole entire thing in sequence once again, just in the past year or two. Like, I don't remember. But I do better when I just allow the presence to show me and guide me. Like I just don't get caught. Like there's a lot of people that are they so busy trying to prove each other wrong that they miss the whole point of the whole thing. And that even occurs within the same religion. Like it's not just between different religions; it occurs within each religion itself, whether that be Christian religion, Muslim, any of that. All these different, nobody can ever come to terms and just agree about something. It's like even, so that really irritates me sometimes. You know? Like if I go to, and we were talking about this the other day too. And Kit Basher, I didn't mean, I don't know if you're Mormon or not. I don't know. But if you're there, I was just saying, I don't know their circumstance, but I'm imagining it was probably a hard choice for them to leave something they'd been part of for 30 years. But I'm not here to tell someone that I just know that I've went to the Latter-day Saints growing up. I had a Latter-day Saint person that lived. There was a family that lived across the street from us. Like right beside me and Mom was Church of God people. Me and Mom weren't really. I mean, I was raised Christian, but we were just kind of whatever. We went to a bunch of different churches, but then across the street we had the Mormons. So like I was around a lot of different denominational type people, and of course I studied a little bit of it, but I was like, like the thing I don't buy into that. Like I was able to have an open enough mind to think if I believe that somebody came, if God came incarnate, died, was resurrected, blah, 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 then I was like, okay, I can grasp the concept that maybe because there was other people in the world, did something happen like that. But after you read into it, the fact that those so-called golden tablets nobody's ever seen, at least with biblical scripture, they actually have either like tablets or scrolls that they found and deciphered, and they still have on record. And if any of it deteriorated, they had pictures and they've caught it. When you have something based on something solely on someone's going out into the woods and telling you this is what happened and I was given this. That'd be like me telling you guys that last night God gave me two gold, like, or mine are silver. I got two silver tablets and I'm blah, 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 blah. But yet I don't ever produce the actual stuff. To me, like anybody with real sense should be able to figure that out. But you know, sometimes if does that make sense though? Like I was like this was a because I remember studying that early in life because I had somebody across the street that was from that religion, and they were very good people. So I've never met any of from that particular church that seemed to be bad people, but it just, you know, a lot of weirdness there, but we're all weird. Most religions are kind of brainwashing anyway. Like, I'm not a religious person, even though I go to a physical church a lot and stuff like that. I'm not religious in the sense of, you know, there's a difference. Yeah. I even looked into Scientology myself. I'll tell you this much. My mom was still alive. Guys, I did, okay. I'm from Tennessee, so I was like, I don't know how old I was, but it was a few years before Mom died and was murdered or whatever. At one point, I had the book Dianetics and read it. I read most of it. It was kind of like, some of it was interesting, some of it was like, and it was so thick, I don't think I read the entire thing. But that led me to be interested in Scientology. So the next thing I did at some point, I remember finding out there was a Church of Scientology in Nashville. Yeah. I called to find out, you know, I was like, oh, there's a Church of Scientology in Nashville. Cool. So I call. And let me tell you, man, you call them, they are quick on trying, like, they're like, oh, well, you know, it's not like, they want to get you in the door as soon as possible. If you're interested, oh yeah, you come up here. We got a video like on the evolution, blah 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 blah. So, and I actually scheduled a day that I was gonna go and like check it out. And my mom said, Jason, because that is my legal name. I don't go by it at all anymore. I don't acknowledge it to people, really. A few people, like my sister, uses it. And unfortunately, a couple of people of those churches learned my legal name and seemed to think, even though I told them I'm Greycloud from the get-go, I never told them my legal name. Somebody just happened to find my legal name because they took me to the doctor one time and I had a broken arm and I needed them to sign my information. Point being is, that's a good question, ain't it? But what I was getting at, guys, is my mom was like, oh, son, you don't need to go there. Don't go to that. Don't go to that meeting. Don't go there. She was like, I guess she had seen enough or knew enough about something. I don't know. She said, I don't remember. I think what it was, maybe I set up a date to go and visit, but I didn't stick to it. And as soon as I missed that date, I started getting phone calls from Scientology about when do I want to reschedule? How come I missed it? And then it was like an unending bacoodle of every week, a couple of different things in the mail from Scientology. And I just remember prior to that, my mom saying, that's kind of a cult. Yeah, I don't know if you need to go and follow up with that meeting, son. And I didn't, and it turned out that she was right. I love this bitch, Lindsay. I gotta stop. I have a niece named Lindsay, and it's spelled that way. My mom's last name, of course, is Lindsay, or my mom's maiden name was Lindsay, spelled that way also. Oh, yeah. That happens a lot too. Have y'all seen those church, the Jesus Christ Latter Day Saints, them ads that pop up on YouTube, and it's all like these pretty young females inviting you to come to their church and all this shit, and it's like, well, I had that happen. I remember during that time I was doing a lot of exploring on my own about God and everything. At this point, I knew the Creator already. I already knew and had verified what I needed to know. It's just I still want to learn as much about what other people believe and why they believe it, or what where a particular religion's perspective is from. Yeah. Well, isn't there something recently in the past month or two? I thought there was something that's came out supposedly. Am I correct? I want to say I remember seeing something about there's a possibility. Is it not that the Latter Day or the the Mormon Church being possibly involved in some kind of weird like trafficking and type thing? I remember seeing something about that. I didn't look into it. I didn't care. I just remember seeing a little bit snippet, like you know how you pick up a little information here and there, and you might not even mean trying to. Yeah, that's definitely a psychological operation. We talked about that, James, didn't we, yesterday? Like, yeah, because I said I was saying the whole psyop thing has been going on for as long as humanity's been around. They've just gotten better and better at it. And that's what the video would be about. If I set up this live stream with Mr. Self Destruct, and I was telling you about the video that I want to watch during the live stream with you guys, and then we can like, because Self Destruct, if he comes on in my stream, he's doing his streaming from a computer. He can pull up the video for me. We can watch it, pause it, talk about different aspects of it. But it discusses all of that about plans they already had on paper and in the process back, like I said, in 2000, 2001. So that is my plan, is to get with him, pick a day. I don't know if we're going to do it this week or we schedule it maybe for next week. Give enough. I at least want to schedule it for a few days ahead of time, and then kind of promote it, since there's going to be another person on there with me, and we're going to watch like some kind of interesting video and talk about like maybe deep dive. I thought that would be kind of cool. Yeah, I hate that. I just felt like it was weird when I was trying to stream, and the little boy was when Colton was standing there just looking at me the whole time with this. He's got this little remote control car. He had it in his hand, the remote. I knew I needed to address something, because I could have just kept on talking to y'all and acting like I didn't see him, but he probably would have just kept standing there, and I was like, it wasn't that he was doing anything wrong. It's just, well, yesterday went so well. And of course, I've already talked about this. At this moment, I'm still more comfortable being solo. So the whole trying to do it, learn how to do it with people with me. It's not that that's hard. It's just new, like knowing that, okay, we got a guest and there's somebody on screen with me. And just once that's different, because you have to try to make sure you're not talking over each other. Now, of course, I've been in some other people's streams several times where there's been 3 or 4 other people on the panel. And so I have to learn when it's appropriate to speak up or not. Like I try to not like, because sometimes you ever went to a stream where there's a bunch of people on the panel and you'll have one or two people and they're doing most of the talking. Like to me, if you got say 4 to 6 people on the screen and only a couple are the ones doing the communicating back and forth, whether with the audience or with each other, why you got the other several people there? You know, it's like I was watching a stream like that last night where there was about 5 or 6 people there, but only 2 people, about 3 people out of the whole group. Actually, it was more than 5 or 6. There was only about 3 people that were actually actively making the stream fun and go. The rest of everybody was just quiet. And I was like, you know, yeah, I could, it's a, like, nothing bad, like, no, I mean, I've been arrested for like, as far as like the crimes I've been arrested for: simple possession of marijuana, public drunkenness, DUI when I was 30, and I've never got a license back and never drove again. I have drove a couple of times with other people's cars and they needed someone to drive. And then, like, if we were having to get a car somewhere and they needed a driver, I would help them, you know, and get it there. But I've never participated in, you know, because some people won't have a license and they'll still buy a car and put it under someone else's name so they can have insurance, but yet they'll be driving around without a license. And then every time you get pulled over, you have a. So, no, I've never. But let's say this. There probably was some things that were pretty You know what I mean? Like there was some vandalism type stuff I did early in my youth, but didn't get caught for. Like we used to have when we were in high school, my friend had this pellet gun, a hand pellet gun. We'd drive around shooting. It was in the paper. Shot up a bunch of holes through the junior high at night. We drove by and like a, you know, little BB going through the hole, like, because it was in the paper because they just go through and make little holes. But like, you know, the next day people go into school and there's a bunch of little like pellet holes in them. And then there was one time like we had these fire extinguishers and we used to like get up real far ahead of people and then stick the fire extinguisher out and just spray a whole bunch and just keep going like on an old road. But there'd be people, we knew people were going to come through it. But that's all mischievous. Oh, what do you mean charge me with? I've been charged with a few simple possessions. I've been charged with a DUI. I was charged, you know, I had several public drunks throughout my life. And I've also had 2 convictions of shoplifting in my life. Yeah, I was big on, at one point, you know, when I was younger, I'd never done nothing like it in my life. And then once I did, it was like kind of something that just became a pretty habitual thing. And then I got caught, you know, one time and it was stupid. It was, oh, wait, I got arrested for possession of a kilo of marijuana with intent to sell supply back in 2020 myself. Oh, okay. Well, mine was just a simple possession, but I get what you're saying. And that's not saying that because I used to sell weed. So at any given time, I could have easily called a bigger charge. You know what I mean? I could have easily. Now, I didn't ever move that much of it, but sometimes I'd have a quarter pound or a half a pound or something. But still, I had enough that if they had called it, it wouldn't have been just like a simple, like, it wouldn't have been as simple as just 6 months or a year of probation. And as long as you do everything they ask you to, everything's cool, you know? Yeah, I imagine. It's a shame that some of the now, like I don't know, but yeah. So see, where I had messed up is I had not seen the previous thing, and so that's why I was sharing with some of my stuff. But uh, then I realized that he was asking because you had mentioned that. I had somebody in Tennessee we used to that I knew on the Mont Eagle Mountain. They were a grower. They grew weed. You know, that was where you got your best weed was off the mountain because there was in they were known. They'd been growing for years. They were real peculiar about it too. They had a guarantee on their weed. They're like, if you find a seed in that bag, you bring that seed to me, and you'll get another bag. They were real prominent. But like, if you find a seed, bring it back to me, and you'll get more pot because they didn't want their if they were real. They tried not to have. They would if they they tried to grow it without seeds, but sometimes if it did get to be found, they didn't want their particular strain that they'd been working with for years be out there from anybody else to have it. Oh, I need to stand up for a minute. Oh, ah, oh, oh. I got to remember that. I said that yesterday. I think sometimes I have to remind myself that. And I'm learning too that these streams are helping the channel out with watch hours. So that's why I'm trying to do it more. Because I think I talked about this yesterday. If I'm not as worried about being monetized through ads and stuff, but I would like to see if I can accomplish getting 3,000 watch hours before the end of the year, so that then we would have in the chat the option for people to do super chat, super stickers, and all that. And I don't necessarily have to put any info. Like we can just have a stream. The information's already in there. And when someone's wanting to, support the channel in that way, they can do that. Because I do that a lot with other channels. I don't do it a lot because I'm on a fixed income, but when I'm in a stream of someone I really like, and at the beginning of the month, I might send them a $2 or a $5 chat or a super sticker or something. Oh, okay, I got you. Yeah, about the murder squad. So we've had a pretty decent chat though again. Okay, yeah, I had 4 DUIs and was convicted last April. Okay, James, I just now read that too. I'm sorry about that. Uh, I've been running my mouth and y'all been saying a few times. I've called everything now. I think I'm caught up to speed here. Oh, you know what, man? There's this guy on X that keeps hitting me up, and I'm so weird about like I've never like he obviously has some like I know that some of those accounts are got to be fake or they got to be people just trying to get you to believe them that they're going to be a legit person that's going to send you what you pay for. But this person has hit me up numerous times to see how I'm doing and what I'm doing. In other words, I'm saying I'm there's an account I follow that they keep trying every so often they hit me up to see if I'm might be still wanting to because I'm interested in if I knew that I could trust it, I would get some psychedelics from them. But I just ain't. I don't like if the motherfucker could say if they would just let me. I'd be if they would let me get a very small amount and then prove to me that what I send, they're going to send to me what I bought. Then they might get me my attention. But when it's hey, I've got this, and go to my Telegram and all this, and then like they're wanting they're wanting a minimum of like 150 or $200 thing or something. It's like, no, if I've never dealt with you. Now, if I got a reference from somebody that says they've already dealt with the person and that it's a reliable thing, then I would do it. I had that opportunity a few years ago. A friend of mine that I grew up with from Tennessee sent me someone that had a Telegram channel, and it was a female that sold shrooms and pot and LSD. Well, you know what I mean. Like we don't want to, but like Sid and stuff. And my friend that I grew up with in Tennessee that was a skateboarder and everything, I still talk to him sometimes. I ain't talked to him in a few months. He verified, like he's like, hey, this chick right here is legit. You won't get screwed. Top knots, gets there quick. You ain't got to worry about getting caught. She knows what she's doing. But at the time, I didn't have. I think I tried to create a Telegram and use it, and then somehow I don't know. I did something wrong, and then I just never followed through with it. No, I'm saying my friend had used this person numerous times and got what he paid for. So he, like, because it was someone I actually know in real life telling me that, like if I was to have someone that I know fairly well, even if I don't know you physically in life, if I've been knowing you for a while and like you were to tell me in a DM, this is where I get my shit, they always on the up and up, then I would be more likely to reach out and do that if I could. Just because I haven't had any psychedelics in a long time. You know what I'm saying? And I know some people are like I heard a dude talk, one of the people I follow here, off topic show, he was talking about this the other day. He hadn't tripped in years, but he's down with it. He smokes some, but he was saying like the last time he tripped on mushrooms, he felt like was like he just ain't felt the need to have any kind of psychedelic in. I think he said it'd been like 10 something or more years, but like the last time he actually tripped, he got certain visions, and that's he said like ever since that trip, he just started working on what his the vision was, and now he has like a pretty good sized channel, and like uh, got an online store. They moved from California over to Italy because he got doxxed and stuff a few years ago. I just found him, just became friends with him this year, but very cool dude. I've always wanted to grow them, and everybody I've ever known that's talked about and done it has told me how tedious. Like if you've never done it and then you try to get the kits and stuff, I remember someone telling me it took them months to get it down. Like they got it, they were doing like because like with growing shrooms, suppose it's like if you don't do certain steps just the right way, and then you don't have the environment just right, which is weird because certain ones will, if you know what you're looking for and the right elements in nature happen, they just pop up. But I guess essentially what you're doing when you're doing it in a controlled environment is try to recreate the same thing that would happen out there, but it's weird to me. So let me check the time. I'm just trying to get wanted to get an idea about what time it was, because I've been here almost 2 hours now. That's a good run too. Oh Jesus. Yeah, I could only imagine. I figure when the time comes that if I'm to well, I mean, I have certain there's certain things I know that I can do if I want to. Last year, I was, you know, last year I got back into using morning glory seeds, which is not quite as strong as the Surgeon Diethymal, but it's still LSA. So it's pretty similar. And if you know what you're doing with them and how to get it out of there right, it works all right. I just hadn't. I've been thinking about getting some and trying and make me a new extract and work on that. What I was experimenting with last summer was making up my little concoction with them and then kind of just practicing doing small little bits of it every day. Like I found that if I just did like in the morning, I'd start off with just a small amount of liquid because I knew how much I'd put into the thing, how many seeds and all, and ground up. So I knew like I'd get it to a certain point where like I just needed a little bit every day, and it would just kind of like, I guess I'm kind of like similar to microdosing, like, but using something that I know and learned years ago. Because I'd never done it that way. I'd always used them in excess where like, I mean, I'd done them days in a row, but I would do lots of it. And then last summer I experimented with making a batch of concoction, a liquid thing with the morning glories seeds, and then just doing small amounts for several days, like not every single day, but doing dose, just like playing around with how little will get me to a certain place where I'm functionable through the day, and it's not just like, where I'm enlightened and got a sense of like a little bit of like more awareness, but yet I'm still like maintaining and able to go throughout the day and enjoy the day and do the things I need to do. Anyway, I didn't mean to get it. That is not the, that's not the purpose of my channel is, I'm not here to promote that type of stuff. I don't mind sharing that I have done those things and that I wouldn't mind doing psychedelics again. It's just I'm definitely want to make that clear that that's why you don't see me do videos about it or anything. But if I'm in a live stream and I happen to bring it up and I'm talking about it, it's just I'm sharing myself. And I remember the first time I ever ate shrooms, I ate almost a whole quarter. And didn't know that I was only supposed to eat like 2 or 3 grams. And and I was already coming down off a hit of a SID. I was coming down the SID. I saw my friend Ozzy. We were at a party after a show that we came from a show watching bands locally to a certain band's storage room where they played and practiced. They were having a party. We're at that party. I see Ozzy selling something to somebody. I go to Ozzy and go, man, what was that? What was you selling? Oh, shrooms, man. Oh, really? How much are they? $50 a quarter, man. Oh, really? I want some. Okay. So I buy them, and he's like, hey, man, here's your shrooms, man. We going to this other party. You want to follow us? Okay. So on the way to the other party, I'm eating them, and I'm asking everybody in the car, well, how much of this is I'm supposed to eat? And they're like, I don't know. And I'm like, well, I paid fucking $50 for this. I'm going to make sure I fill it. And I eat almost all the bag and gave the little corner of what was left to the guy in the passenger seat. show up at the other party, and I asked Ozzy, how many of those I was supposed to eat? And he's like, 2 or 3 grams. So what'll happen if I eat the whole quarter? He took Stu said he was fucking with me, but he said, well, man, don't come around me the rest of the night. It set me off. Yeah, I mean, different people react in different ways. Most of the time, I'm not seeing a lot of stuff. Like, well, like I haven't done it. I haven't actually not this last Christmas, but the Christmas of 2023. A friend did send me a chocolate bar that was shrooms, and I ate most of it on the day I got it, and had a pretty good time. And then I saved the rest of the chocolate bar for my birthday, which is December 30th. And it was all right, but I wished I had just ate the whole thing the day I got it, or saved it to the birthday and ate it all. But it was nice to have after not having for a long time. Oh, well, oh yeah, here's the funny part of the story. So once they started kicking in, and you got to remember, I was coming down off of the SID. So I'd already been tripping on one hit of SID, LSD. Coming down off of that, I find out about the shrooms. I buy the quarter bag. I eat almost the whole quarter bag. I get to the other party. Ozzy tells me, whoa, man, you didn't need to eat that much. That sets me off like, oh, God, man, I'm going to trip hard. I sat out on the porch of that, at that party, and I remember I was like, I had my head shaved and everything, and at the time I was in a band. I can understand, yeah. So I was in a band that we had previously had a lead vocalist, not a singer, but like he had left the band, and at this point we were just doing the vocals ourselves. We ended up not having a lead vocal anymore and all that. But I remember he had a shaved head, I had a shaved head, and I was sitting on that porch tripping, and I was like going to my friend like this, I was like, I'm trying to take my head off of my shoulders. And then I was like, you know what? I could commit a crime and blame it on Jim Looney. That was the guy's name that had been the vocalist. Because we both have shaved heads and we have goatees. And I did. And also, I remember seeing like that driveway split open. And it looked like in part of the night that I was tripping, I saw the earth split open and looked down in it. So it was an intense experience. It wasn't a bad experience, but the first onslaught was. But see, back in the day when I was experimenting with it in the early years, it was all about the feel good and trying to just escape reality. Later on in life, I was taught how to use psychedelics properly as a tool to enhance certain aspects of my mental state, if that makes any sense. The same, you know what I mean? Like anything can be abused and taken the wrong way. But like what I'm getting at is I had never took the time until a certain person introduced me to the history of psychedelics. Like when you study native cultures and different native tribes from all around the world, most of them have some sort of type of psychedelic that at some point they were using in their spiritual processes. Like shamans and witch doctor type people or whatever. It might not have been shrooms all the time. Like out west here, the Native Americans, peyote, which gives you mescaline and stuff like that. That's what I'm getting at. It's like back in the day for me, it was all like about eat as much as I can of whatever I'm taking and just go ball out. then at some point I learned if done a certain way, it can actually help, enhance your life. And so that's the route I started trying to approach it from. And of course, I still took an extreme route sometimes and went down the road of how far out there I tried to get as far out as I could. I don't know why that's held for review there. Some of the, I guess it's the way I've got the settings. I do have it set that if it, like AI will, if it thinks that something could be offensive, it holds the message. So I don't know why, but I'm trying to say show it and it don't show it, but it don't matter. I see what you're saying. Others are degenerates. Well, we all can be, I mean, I will speak for myself. There's been times in my life that I very well could say that if someone had called me a degenerate at the time, they probably were not incorrect. What I'm getting at is I don't think I have a moderator in the chat right now or watching right now, so I'm pretty sure it's not somebody else holding it because you didn't even cuss. But it's just it's so that if I didn't have someone in here moderating, if someone comes in and does start trying to be obscene, it does hold it, so I can at least look at it and decide if I want to show it. But I don't know why it don't allow me to show them sometimes. No, I know. I mean, earlier we had Tomcat as like I don't need a moderator right now. There's nobody here. But I can make you a moderator if you want to be for future. Hold on a minute. What I'm going to say is if you want to be a moderator for the channel, so for future live streams, when you catch me and come in, especially if you, as I continue to stream, eventually I hope that we get to where we have numerous people in the chat, but what you end up having is sometimes people spamming the chat, and sometimes it's offensive stuff. Sometimes it's not offensive. It's just someone hitting and just giving the same thing over and over and over, like 10 of the same messages all over. Well, that's when you need a moderator so they can time people out or hide the stuff. But when things are going smooth right now like this, that's just a rat. Ha ha ha. What I was saying is, oh, you couldn't be a moderator. Okay. I just was asking since you brought it up. I could make you a moderator, and then if ever in the future you were to catch a live stream and we had some jackasses in the comments, you could handle it for me. But I can do it too. I'm pretty easy on, for instance, there has been times last year, I did have some live streams last year that got up to about 20 or 30 people watching. And there would be sometimes people trying to trigger me. I would see their messages and not think much about it and kind of either ignore it, address it, and say whatever I needed to say back. But some of the other people that I had made moderators, sometimes they'd see something and think that the person, like sometimes somebody was making a joke, but someone took it, thought it was offensive, and that someone was like picking on me. And I would have to tell my moderator, no, man, it's all good. They're just joking. And I can take the shit, Now, what I don't like, I don't want someone coming in here and being rude to my actual subscribers and the people that are good people in the chat. That's where I think the moderation has to come in. If we get to a point where there's a certain amount of people in the chat and we're having a good stream, if you have people coming in trying to interrupt that, you got to have some level of being able to, because not everybody's able to ignore it like I could sometimes, They say both. We say both. We say both usually. Uh, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I'd say the most common word is probably snitch nowadays. I think rat was more used like in a different era of the, you know what I mean? Like when you go back into the early days, like 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and stuff like that. You know, like back in the heyday of the mob and all that. And I would figure it's just like probably based on location and the people you've been around, the way you were growing up. I'd say both words, you know, usually most people know both words mean, but here it's kind of like it's interchangeable. So, and for me, when I think about a rat, I think about somebody that's putting information to keep their own ass out of trouble. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I see someone doing something that's heinous and it's fucked up and they're hurting somebody, and you got to bring in, like, you got to do what you got to do to make things correct, I don't see, like, that's not being a snitch. Because I have seen some people do some shitty stuff and it turned my freaking stomach. Now, of course, I didn't do nothing about it, but, like, what I'm getting at is there's a fine line, you know? If I'm doing something, like let's say if you're a drug dealer and somebody gets in trouble outside, they buy something and get in trouble and then they turn your name in, that's a fucking snitch. Somebody that is doing a obvious like bad thing to some people for no reason or something, not just selling a product and whatever. Anyway, I don't want to get into all that. Yeah, I'm gonna probably end this. It's been good talking, man. I appreciate it. I think I am probably gonna get off here in just a second. Uh, and so you have a good. I'm a. You're probably. It's like nighttime, isn't it, for you about now? Like here, it's almost 5 in the afternoon. So I'm assuming you're already like in nighttime because you're. So what I was gonna say is have a good evening. Okay, yeah, or have a good night. I'm gonna enjoy the best I can. I probably do need to get off here in a few minutes. Get up, stretch, assess the situation and what I'm gonna do next. Hey, thank you, Kit Basher. I didn't know you were here the whole time. I appreciate you too, James. Um, and look, y'all be looking on that. I will be when I set up that stream I was talking about, watching that video about some interesting stuff about some of the things that are going on that they've been working on to like control us for years. I think that'll be an interesting stream. And once I get that set up, look for me to be. I'll promote it and try to let you guys know so many days ahead of time. So maybe if you're interested in that you can come and check it out. Oh, okay. I'll look that up here in a little bit. I'm sure I've listened to it at some point in my life. You know, The Who. I know The Who. I've listened. But yeah, I'm gonna end this. I'm gonna get off here for a while. That's not. Oh yeah, I do need to get off here because at some point this evening, my friend Johnny Scab, who is in England, Johnny Scab is going to be doing a stream, and we're going to be doing. They're going to be talking about. Well, it's going to be talking about comic books and some of the degenerates in the Comicsgate community that have left the community and think they're, you know, whatever, they're assholes. So that's what his stream's going to be about. And it's going to be a fun one. And I might not be on the stream, but I'm going to be in the chat. I want to be in the chat, support his channel. And Who knows? I might. He's going to share the link. If he does, I might go on there and watch. I might be on there for a little while. That's cool, Kit Bastard. Did he mention that? And you, yeah. So he definitely has suggested a good tune for us to look up and listen to today, huh? I'm gonna have to remember that. I'm gonna do that right after we end this. I'm gonna pull that song up. I'm gonna put it on play, and then I'm gonna figure out what I'm about to do for the rest of the day. I enjoyed every single minute of this. Y'all have a good one, and we'll talk real soon. Much love, but we say it this way here: ditto, ditto, because it means same to you. Take care.